They're strong, powerful, every player knows the roles, and they look together. They're the team to beat. I think it's going to be take some stopping to beat them. And I get he's a club legend and everything's done for the club, but you see him on your teammates not running back. If I was Arne Slot, I'd try and make a big decision just so it has an impact on the rest of the team. Sometimes his body language didn't look great, but he used to work really hard.
I enjoyed your Instagram. Someone took a photo of you cooking and you looked fuming.
Oh yeah, seen that today.
Yeah, it's just halfway through where you're just like, I should have just ordered something in. Like, this is just a bit of a faff. It's the cleaning afterwards as well that gets to me.
Yeah, you end up picking at it as well, don't you? And then you're not hungry once.
Can you cook, Wayne?
Yeah, not. I can do what I need to. Yeah.
All right, let's not talk about food. Actually, Kay, what were you cooking? Because you put something funny. Because you are a comedian. You put something like
I put some chicken wings and stuff as well. I made some chicken wings like Korean style.
Nice.
Funny enough, I made them on MasterChef as well. But yeah, I can cook other things.
You've been on MasterChef.
On Celebrity MasterChef, yeah.
Shut up! How did I not know that?
Yeah, I said I was with Danny Jones.
Right.
And I was with Nancy Jones. Danny Jones and Nancy Delalio and Paul Chuckle.
Have we spoken about this before? Am I the only one that didn't know about this? Did you know this, Wayne?
No.
How did you do?
I swear I told you guys. Yeah, last time. Yeah. So it was a mad combination of people, and it was Faye from Love Island as well. Yeah, so it was like 5 of us. It was great fun.
Where did you finish?
Oh, I got kicked out after Nancy Delalio, and then Paul Chuckle got kicked out after me. Danny obviously went on to win it.
Does he just win every reality thing?
Do you know what it is? I genuinely think Danny took a culinary course or something before he went on, because the things this guy was coming out with, he's like, yeah, I'm gonna do a little miso soup and I'm gonna do this Japanese soup. And I was like, bro, like, you don't just know how to do that, do you? Like, you've been taught. And Nancy Delalio was great. She kept on telling me stories about like when her and Sven went to see the Beckhams and stuff like that. Like, she had stories for days, like loads of them.
Wayne, would you do MasterChef?
No. No.
Okay, that was short and sweet. Neither would I, because I am a terrible cook. Okay, as per usual, us getting distracted by random stories. Let's talk about the football. North London is red, and comprehensively red, I think, Wayne. What a win for Arsenal.
Yeah, dude, I thought they were brilliant. I think the strong, powerful, every player knows the roles, and so a well-deserved win. But, Eze's coming to the team now. Obviously, he gets his hat-trick, which is amazing for him, but he's looking like he's fitting in more and more with every game. Trossard, I thought was brilliant, and they look together. They're the team to beat. I think it's going to be take some stopping to beat them. So yeah, a great win for them.
What were Tottenham even trying to do? Can you explain what their tactics were? Because I couldn't see any.
Yeah, no, they've obviously gone there and to try and stay in the game, to be honest, and hopefully try and nick the win at the end. But when you concede, then that changes. Then you have to come out a little bit more, and Arsenal picked them apart after that. So, yeah, no, listen, Thomas Frank's gone there. He's just seen it. It's hard to slow the game down, frustrate the players, frustrate the Arsenal fans, and they were doing that. You could see that on the TV. They were doing that, and the fans were getting a bit frustrated. But then the goal changes everything, and Arsenal in complete control, and you're never going to lose it from there.
Understandably, the Spurs fans will have wanted to see their team go for it a bit more because it's a derby. I completely get that. But Wayne, do you actually understand why Frank did set his team up like that?
Yeah, of course. Listen, Arsenal, unbelievable team, and especially this year. So sometimes you have to hold your hands up and say, this team is better than us. What can we do to try and win the game and stay in the game? And I think that's what Tottenham have done. And like all good teams, Arsenal found a way to break that down and scored. I thought the first goal, Trossard goal, was a great pass. You got a bit of luck, but and then from there, Tottenham, you stick to your twist, you go and try and score, and you leave yourself a bit more open. And I thought Arsenal just then dominated and fully deserved the win. So they're looking good, looking really good.
And if it wasn't for that Richarlison goal, at that point, it kind of maybe felt like potentially there was a bit of a lifeline for Spurs. I don't know if you can really even call it a lifeline, Kay, can you really? It was a wonder goal.
I was like, oh wow, Richarlison's actually Brazilian. Because when I saw that from the halfway line, he done a Wayne, didn't he? It was like that halfway line. It came out of nowhere as well, but it was a great strike. But it was like the only shot on target they'd had for ages, wasn't it?
I think that was their first shot, wasn't it?
Yeah, I was laughing because I think Gary Neville had just said just before it that Arsenal are not taking any risks. Literally, they lose the ball right in the middle of the pitch and he scores. But yeah, no, it was an unbelievable finish. And it's even harder that because the ball was a bit in the middle of his legs. It went to the side, so it was a really hard technique for him. So it's a great goal.
Yeah, I was going to ask, you've scored goals like that. You know what it takes. Just tell us, how tough is it? Because, yeah, for me, I just think it looks impossible, but obviously it's not. But yeah, just take us into his mind. Yeah,
no, it's just all about where the goalkeeper is, because every player can kick the ball from the halfway line into the goal. So it's all about where the goalkeeper is and being aware. And you obviously study your goalkeepers, and David Raya is always quite high. So he would have known that if the ball breaks near the middle of the pitch, he's got an opportunity to score. So he's obviously known that before the game, and his execution was brilliant.
As for other standout Arsenal performers, because let's be honest, David Raya didn't have too much to do. Eberechi Eze will understandably get the headlines, Wayne. Are you impressed at just how well he has settled in and how he's broken into such an impressive Arsenal team already?
Yeah, well, I think the first few games he was on the bench, wasn't he? And still obviously trying to get his match fitness up. But today I thought he was brilliant, and picking up pockets, getting on the half turn, running the players. He's a top player, and to go into an Arsenal team where they've got good players and top players already, and then now have the impact he's having, he's going to make a big difference for them this season.
It's the confidence he's got as well, isn't it?
Yeah, and you could see after his third goal, you could see he's looking like, and he's in a moment, he's taking it all in, and
the little flicks and stuff as well. When
and so I think that's brilliant. But he was an Arsenal fan, wasn't he? I think
so. Yes.
So to go and score at against Tottenham in your first Nottingham derby, he'll have a good night tonight, I'm sure.
Did you keep all your hat-trick balls, Wayne? Because you keep all your memorabilia.
Yeah, I've got them. Yeah, I've got them. So I used to get them all signed by all the players, and then take them home.
Hold on, is there one over your shoulder? What were they?
Yeah.
What ones are they?
No, I don't know what game.
When you've scored that many, I guess you don't know what they're all from, do you, Kay? Why am I saying that to you? You've got a sugar over your shoulder. Why am I saying that as if you've got hat-trick balls?
I'm sat in my kitchen. There's none of my achievements over here, unless you want a decaf tea.
Did you not put that shelf up? No?
No.
Oh, okay. I thought maybe that was one of your achievements. Does Martin Odegaard get back in this team when he's fit, Wayne?
He's a captain, isn't he?
He's captain. I think that'll be a bit of an issue for Arteta, because I think he looks settled in the team, and he wasn't in the greatest of form before he got injured, and now he's picked up a lot of injuries. So I think it'll be tough for him to get back in. And you always get a bit of leeway being captain as well, but I think he's going to have to fight for his place now.
But surely there's going to be opportunities for both of them to play at different times in a season as well, with the amount of games that they have, and especially if they go deep into the Champions League. I don't think it's going to be that much of an issue, do you?
No, but I think when Odegaard's back, you'll probably see Eze go more to the left again, and probably Trossard to miss out. But yeah, listen, they've got an unbelievable squad. Yeah. So whoever they play and whoever they leave on the bench to come on and have an impact, they're going to be It's going to be some team to stop them this year, both in the Champions League as well.
You played in teams with great squads. How did you find it when there was a player in the same position as you that was excellent? Did it make you up your game?
Yeah, you've got that's a battle, a fight between you and that player and you want to play better than him, and you want to try and make sure you keep your place in the team. So there was never any dislike to anyone.
No, of course no. But was there anybody that you ever thought, oh, I got to watch myself here now? Like, this is.
Not really. When we used to sample, when Van Persie come in, I knew he was going to play as the number 9.
Fair.
So that's why I dropped a bit deeper. So yeah, when you bring players in, you're always looking, or you're linked with other players. You're always looking, and you're half thinking, I'd love to play with him, or he's got to take my place. So yeah, you just got to be ready and keep working.
Going back to Arsenal, was this the first time, Wayne, you felt like we've really seen... I mean, we've seen impressive performances from them throughout the season, but this was a big game where they've completely stepped up. They've probably exceeded even what their fans would have expected from the game. Is this the first game where we can really go, okay, these are the main title contenders?
Yeah, no, I think we've known that for a few weeks now, and I think what's obviously City losing yesterday, that feeling they would have got, knowing that obviously if they win this game, they create a bigger gap. But I think City, bit inconsistent, Liverpool are fading away, and they just keep picking up results. And the foundation of it is the defence. Defensively, they're solid, and then that allows them attacking players to go and express themselves and winning the game. So I can't see anyone stopping them.
And also, they did that today without Gabriel 2K, didn't they?
Yeah, and you saw him celebrating on the sidelines as well, even though he's injured, and that looked like a team that's got a lot of togetherness, and everybody's pulling in the same direction. Like when a player's showing that much passion and they're not even on the pitch, I think it can only be a good thing. And it was Hincapié, wasn't it, that came in for him, and he didn't have to do much, did he, as well? So it's good that they've got that stability in defence and stuff as well. I think after that Sunderland game, I thought that teams would sort of try and go at them a lot more, and I thought Tottenham would sort of try and do that as well, because in a derby game anything can happen. But like we just saw, they just capitulated today.
Yeah, I think you've got to give Arteta a lot of credit, because to create an atmosphere around the training ground and have a squad of players they've got, a lot of them players will walk in any other team in the Premier League, and to keep them all together and keep them focused and that passion in them, his man management skills must be incredible. So I think you've got to give him a lot of credit for that.
Do you know what? And the Emirates, the atmosphere at the Emirates at the end, did you see it? I haven't seen it that loud in ages.
No, it was always quiet when we played there. So.
little dig.
I was setting you up for that.
No, listen, why wouldn't it be? I think they've waited a long time, haven't they, to try and win the Premier League, and the seeing good football, getting good results, and I think they'll be getting a bit excited.
Okay, one team who probably aren't getting quite as excited at the moment are Liverpool. Wayne, you've had your say on Liverpool quite a bit this season. Let's let you have another voice. I heard what you said on Match of the Day last night, but since then, Virgil van Dijk's comments and more have come out today discussing the togetherness in the team. What do you make of what's going on there?
Yeah, they're going through a hard time, aren't they? I think. And I think what I haven't said is you've probably got to look at the effect what Jota's, sadly what happened to Jota, what effect has that had on the players, because that's his teammates, you with them every day, and so that surely has to have an effect. But then there's no excuse for not fighting and not tackling. I think if your captain's got to come out and say that's a message to the players, to the other players. If you're a captain, you've got to come out publicly and say that to try and get a message to your teammates. Then I think that's a big worry. So, and they don't look together on the pitch. When they go and attack, they're not running back defensively. There's gaps everywhere, and so I think it's quite easy to pick apart the faults there in how they're playing. So I think Arne Slot's got a big job to get them back playing and winning.
Do you know what? I think the Jota thing is absolutely valid, but that doesn't explain people like Wirtz and Alexander Isak not performing so far this season as well. And do you think it could be the amount of signings that they've had over the summer that's created a bit of a disconnect in that team?
No, we don't know, do they? They might be all best mates. You don't know that, but it certainly doesn't look like that on the pitch. And I think Salah is not helping them defensively as well, and I'm sure if you're one of them players who they've signed and you sat on the bench and you've seen him not running, and I get he's a club legend and everything he's done for the club, but if you're on the bench, then what message that sends to you? You see one of your teammates not running back, and he's starting every game. So I think if I was Arne Slot, I'd try and make a big decision. Just so it has an impact on the rest of the team.
Does he need to drop him? Is that what you're saying?
I think so. Yeah, I think so, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a big step. I guess he's got to change
when
something.
you're not winning games, you want to try and stay compact and hard to beat. And so I think while they're going through this period, 100% he needs to make a decision and get them compact, get them hard to beat, and every player running back and working back, and then obviously when they start winning games, you can bring them back in and hope that he is running back more. But I think that'll have an impact on the team for sure.
You know what's going to happen now? He's going to come out next week and score a hat-trick. It's just been interesting since you had that.
Or he'll come pull me on the side of the pitch at Anfield.
But yeah, I mean, but since they did that, since you had that little thing with Van Dijk, they've conceded 6 goals. So, I mean, you were right, weren't you?
Yeah, well, I think what I said before is continued really in terms of the performances, and they haven't been great. So as champions, you're gonna get judged on how you're playing and what results you get. And so yeah, no, they haven't been great at all. And that's not just obviously Van Dijk and Salah. I say that because I'd like to think they're the leaders in the team, but like McAllister, who's been there for a few years now, and Gravenberg, who done really well last season. These players as well have got to pull a finger out and get round everyone and try and create a team which is going to win again.
Have you ever been in a situation, I know you've been a captain as well, Wayne, where you've had to do something similar to what you feel like Van Dijk is doing at the moment in terms of sending a message to his players via kind of what he's saying, via his words?
I don't think I've ever tried to get a message to the players through the media. Sometimes you say things after the game and your emotions are high, but I don't think I've ever calculated a message through the media.
Maybe his emotions are just high as well, then, you could say.
Yeah, exactly. So it hurts, and you can see that it hurts. And last year I was saying Liverpool the best team in the world, and Van Dijk best centre back in the world, and so I think when you have to take both sides of it, you have to accept you're going to get criticised when you don't.
Do you think there's players in there having a look at the manager's tactics or the manager in general and going, what's he doing over here?
Yeah, I'm sure the manager's looking at it as well, because when you lose games, you look at everything. You look at the players, you look at the physios, you look at yourself to try and see if there's anything you're missing to try and help you win games. So he'll be doing a lot of soul searching, I'm sure.
It kind of felt like after yesterday's game, there was a few more people looking at Arne Slot's tactics, looking at the record, because let's be frank, it's not the record that we'd expect. When we're talking about a title race and talking about Arsenal, we're not even talking about Liverpool in it now. People are kind of asking how Arne Slot gets Liverpool out of this. Can he get them out of it, Wayne?
Yeah, he can. I'm sure he can. But when you're in a run of form like this, you look ahead and you're thinking this is never going to end, but it will. There's a top team, and so yeah, I think the big thing is when he has a run of results like this, Klopp's name keeps getting brought up, and it's a bit like the present with Alex Ferguson, for instance, when David Moyes come in and Van Gaal, Fergie's name would always get brought up. So I think with Slot, with Klopp, keeps getting brought up, and he's not Jurgen Klopp, he weren't as good as Jurgen Klopp, but I think the Liverpool fans just need to move away from that and get behind him.
I've seen so many Liverpool fans ask for his head this week. There's been so many of them saying, get him out. I've seen enough. Ever since the start of the season, his tactics haven't been right. I don't know what to think of it, but like you just alluded to there, it's during that period where United had Moyes taken over. How did you feel as players when you went from being a team that's just won the league and then having to deal with a different dynamic now where you're losing a lot more games than you're used to? You're probably not dominating some games and stuff as well. What's going on in the changing room? What's going on in the training ground at that point in time?
Yeah, you just got to commit to the new manager. And as I said there, I think Liverpool need to move on from Klopp, which they obviously did. They won the league. But when it's not going well, they keep going back to his name. But for us as players, you've just got to listen to the new manager, see what he wants tactically, try and help in whatever way you can, and work really. And that's what we tried to do. And obviously we weren't good enough, and it cost David Moyes his job. So, but yeah, you've got to just adapt. And I'm sure a lot of players have played on so many different managers, and you have to adapt to whoever comes in.
Do you remember that time well under Moyes, Wayne, when kind of that was changing and when the tide almost turned against him, didn't it? With like fans and media calling for him to be sacked, and then of course he eventually was.
Yeah, it was tough, obviously, because I knew him. I knew from when I was at Everton. And so, yeah, that was tough. And I don't know where we finished. I think it was like 8th or something. And so we had a terrible season from just winning the Premier League. So it's not easy. And because ultimately, how you play as a group of players has an effect on that person's job. So the best managers find a way to get the best out of different players. But ultimately, if as a group you didn't do it, you cost them a job.
You think with Liverpool currently, because from what I'm seeing with Arne Slot, it feels like he's a massive fan of Pep Guardiola and that sort of style of coaching. And the players that they've brought in aren't necessarily as physical enough as the league has gone. I feel like the league's gone a lot more physical and he's tried to go a bit more technical. Do you think that's had an issue on how the players have reacted this year as well?
No, not really. I think you have to run. I think that's the...
Fair enough. Simple.
You can talk about tactics, all you want to with the ball, but when you haven't got the ball, you have to run and get back into your shape and be hard to play against. You look at, Pep with Man City, they run, they get back, they work hard. So you have to, roll your sleeves up and do the other side of the game as well. And I just think there's a few new players come in. They've lost big players, obviously, sadly Jota, but Luis Diaz, they lost. Who else was there? They lost Nunes. So they've lost some big players who were really important to them. So, they just don't seem to have that balance at the minute. And I don't think... It looks like he obviously admires Guardiola, but I don't think Liverpool would be able to get to where City are in terms of style of playing.
There's been a lot said, hasn't there, about the number of transfers in and the change at Liverpool. Is there such thing as too much change? Is that what's happening here? I'm feeling a lot of people talking about this at the moment too, Wayne.
Yeah, there could be. And I think for them new players coming in as well, they'll be looking at the players from last season and they'll be looking, thinking, they've just won the league and probably feel a bit more pressure that they have to try and do it because the players they've just replaced, they probably want to try and prove that they were better than them players. So I think there will be a bit more pressure and obviously it's a big club, but I think Isak just needs to run the games. I think that's what he needs, and none of them have really paid off apart from Eberechi. So if I was Eberechi, I'd be fuming if I weren't playing.
Yeah, it's a bit sad that like you're in form and because somebody else has come in that they've paid a lot more money for, you're not getting into the side. There was a tweet I saw from Mo Salah at the beginning of the season where someone had put up a picture of Darwin Núñez and Luis Diaz in black and white, and they put Florian Wirtz and Alexander Isak up in colours, and it was like, oh, look at this upgrade or whatever. And Mo Salah took some offence to that, and he tweeted, how about let's not disrespect Premier League champions and celebrate new signings as it is. I'm not saying that obviously he didn't agree with the decision for those guys to go, but has there been a time where you may have had it in your career, but and what he's probably going through now, where you've seen some signings go and you've gone, that's completely the wrong decision? Like,
mine was when Ronaldo left and Tevez left, and that's when I asked Alex Ferguson questions about who's coming in, because that's going to have a massive impact on you as a team. So, and I think the other side of it as well, so just say Mo Salah, for instance, or any foreign players coming in, you don't know what connections and friendships they've got with the teammates who are also from a foreign country, and the kids might be best friends with their kids, and all of a sudden that's gone, and so the impact that has at home. So we just don't know, and so maybe Mo Salah might be missing some friends from that point of view, but ultimately, as a professional, you've got to get on with it and keep going. So
I love the way you've simplified everything today. Just run, get on with it.
No, but I think you've got to get on with it and deal with it, and if you're not happy, then leave.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah.
Also, I'm wondering what the existing Liverpool players will be kind of looking at the new players, because obviously they'll have tried to help them settle, but I imagine there's part of them looking at Isak thinking, you were meant to be our big money signing. Like, will they be looking at them, kind of questioning them, or is that just not something players do?
Yeah, no, you do, yeah. And when you sign a new player, you're looking at them on the first day in the training ground. So and the player's got to be ready for it, and if not, there'll be loads of banter, I'm sure, when he's like misses a shot in training, for instance. And,
Even now, when it's going kind of not well, do you think they'll be laughing about?
yeah, some are harsh like that, but yeah, there'll be questions asked, of course, on all the new players, and there always is until you go and prove that you're good enough to play for that club. So I'm sure some players will be sat next to each other, say he's not great, he's not Luis Diaz, is he? He's not as good as Luis Diaz.
Were you one of these players in the dressing room? Was that the kind of thing you
Yeah,
would do?
definitely. Yeah.
He said he bullied Patrice Evra into actually becoming a good player at United.
No, you have to, yeah, and that's part of being at a top club. You have to be ready and prove yourself.
What does Isak? Is it literally as simple as a run of games? Because he's come in as the big money signing. I feel sorry for him.
Yeah, he just needs a goal, any type of goal. He just needs, like the Leeds one today, where it just comes off him. The Aston Villa one, was it? Or Leeds?
Yeah, Leeds.
Where it just comes off him. He just needs any type of goal to get him going, and I'm sure he'll find a good run of form after that. But he'll be scratching his head. It's not easy. It's hard when you're going through a run of games and not scoring. Just have to try and keep everything simple.
Now, maybe this is because I support a smaller club. They're not even in the Premier League anymore. But often when big clubs lose at home or have big, heavy defeats, we don't focus on the other side of things. I think it's really important we focus on Nottingham Forest. Firstly, Wayne, just how good were they? And were the tactics as well from Sean Dyche?
Yeah, no, I thought they were brilliant. And Liverpool had a couple of chances early on to take the lead. And I think it was Anderson had a couple of really good blocks and they defended the box brilliant. But then when they won the ball, they went forward and went quick, and Liverpool struggled to deal with that. So I thought tactically they were spot on and resilient, and they were a bit more like the Nuno Nottingham Forest team yesterday, and they've got good players and who can hit on the break, and yeah, fair play to them. It was a brilliant result.
Just goes to show how important it is, when you're playing a team, because if you'd have been playing Nottingham Forest just a couple of months ago when Ange was in charge, you'd have looked at that game, rubbing your hands, going, "Here's 3 points, lads." But now, like, you're looking at them, and they're, like you said, they're back to looking like the team they were under Nuno, and they're firing on all cylinders. And you've got people like Morgan Gibbs-White, and they're just playing out of their skin.
Yeah, I think Gibbs-White was brilliant yesterday. I thought Anderson was brilliant as well yesterday. So yeah, no, tactically they got it right. And Sean Dyche, he's a big character. I like him a lot. Big character. Sets his team up well. Doesn't overcomplicate it, and they played some good stuff as well yesterday. But going back to Liverpool, I think you can see on the players' faces when they can see the goal.
What can you see on their faces? What do you mean?
Well, I think last season, if they can see the goal, you see a calmness and don't panic. But I think yesterday the camera went in on Alisson's face, Van Dijk's face, and you can see a real, and went in on Arne Slot, and it's almost like, what do we do here?
Do you think?
Yeah.
Gosh, that says a lot. When the body language is like that, that's quite worrying, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. But listen, they're good enough players, and I'm sure they'll be doing everything to try and get out of it.
Right, I'm going to tell you both off because I told you that we weren't focusing on Liverpool. We're meant to be focusing on Forest, and Wayne's brought it back round to Liverpool again. You mentioned Morgan Gibbs-White. I feel really sorry for him, Wayne, because he's looking at Elliot Anderson, who's gone away with England and is probably basically going to be one of the first names on the team sheet for Thomas Tuchel next summer. He's been exceptional for both club and now country. And Gibbs-White, probably just because of the position he plays, isn't really going to get a look in, is he, at England?
Yeah, and that's positionally, you've got Gibbs-White's not competing with Anderson. He's competing with obviously the players a bit further forward. So that's down to him to try and get his place on the plane, I suppose. And Anderson's come in and been great, but you never know with football. We look at Calvin Phillips, and
I forgot about him.
For 2 years he was brilliant. He goes to the Euros with England, and then you don't see him again. So you never know, and there's a long way to go before the summer. So if Gibbs-White keeps doing what he done yesterday, then he'll give himself a good chance. It's
just this happens to England all the time, doesn't it? Like every era we get like a position where we get so many great players. Like we mentioned it in a couple episodes ago, where you had like a so many strikers in one position, and now we've got like so many midfielders where you're like,
so many tens, isn't it, and wingers.
Yeah. How are you going to fit them all in?
I don't know. That's for Tuchel. Lee Carsley tried to play them all, didn't he, in one of his games? I think it was Greece. And got beat.
That didn't work.
Yeah, but no, I think you've just got to... And what Tuchel has done well is he's picked his squad and then he's picked his team on who he thinks is best for that game, and he's stuck with it. So I don't think anyone, apart from probably Harry Kane and Pickford, are guaranteed a place in the start.
I think as well, the fact that he doesn't play for one of the traditional big six probably doesn't help him or do him any favours, because I do think sometimes, whether it's the fan bases or whatever, it does have an effect on whether a manager picks you or not.
No, normally the players in the bigger clubs are probably a bigger profile of player.
Yeah.
And that's so you probably hear more about that, but I don't think that'll have an effect on the manager.
Well, away from the Premier League, Paul Pogba played for the first time in over 2 years yesterday. He came off the bench in the 85th minute of Monaco's 4-1 defeat. We don't need to go into the ins and outs of why he was banned, but Wayne, just on a personal level, as a player, as someone that kind of has come across him and stuff, how pleased were you for him?
Yeah, no, he's a good lad, Paul, and great to see him back playing. So yeah, he's a player, Pogba, who we seen him as a kid in Man United's academy. He come up and trained with us a few times, and you just look at him, he had everything to be top player. And he's obviously gone on, won the World Cup and won big trophies, and the last few years have been frustrating for him, but yeah, no, great to see him back.
He just looks amazing when he's on the field, man. Like some of it, like his range of passing. And what I always used to love about him was his footwork for a player so tall was just amazing. Like, honestly,
yeah, no, honestly, he was so good. So we'll see. It remains to be seen if he can get back to them levels. But if he was in a more flamboyant team, if you like, compared to our team we had at the time, then I think he would have stood out a lot more as well.
What was he like as a teammate?
Yeah, he was good. You know what? He was really respectful to everyone, especially the older players. Really respectful to them. But yeah, no, he was a nice team. It get on your nerves a little bit with all his dancing and all that, but that's part of his character.
Why did it get on your nerves?
Yeah, it just depends. There's a time and place for him.
How did you view his time at United, Kay? Did you like him as a fan?
I used to love Paul Pogba as a fan. I think sometimes he was judged quite harshly by pundits as well as like United fans. I think there were times where he was being played out of position and he was still performing. But I think I remember one game where he had like 2 or 3 assists in one game, and they were going, well, that's what you expect of a £100 million player. And it's like, firstly, he didn't even cost £100 million, and secondly, we've seen other players go for £100 million, and people are like, oh no, they're still trying to adapt to the league, and like, do you know what I mean? And people make tons of excuses for them. And I think that constant scrutiny and pressure in a team that's not successful, I think it can get to you.
Yeah, but I just think as a professional football player, you know that's coming, so you have to be able to deal with it. And we see it with top players; they get it, they get scrutinised, and you get judged on your performances. So it's what's happening at Liverpool now. They get a lot of praise last season, and now they're getting judged because they're not doing well. But you have to get through that. Pogba had it, I had it, Ronaldo has it, Beckham had it. It's top players get it, and that's why you have to try and be at your best all the time, because if you're not, the pundits are going to come out and say, oh, you didn't play well, because that's the job. But you've got to deal with it.
No, I understand that. But I do think sometimes he was performing well and people were saying he wasn't. That was my genuine opinion of it at the time.
Yeah, you'll get that anyway. But I think as long as your teammates and your manager, if they know you're playing well, then I think that's all that matters.
I've spoken to some ex-players, and they're like, when they used to come up against him, they were frightened because it was like it was strong and they couldn't get near him and all of that sort of stuff as well. So I think history will be kinder to him than we know now.
Yeah, no, I hope it goes well for him and he can get back playing at the top level, because it'd be a shame to have that talent.
Do you think he'll make the World Cup?
You never know, do you? I think he needs to go and prove himself now and try and get in the Monaco team. And then you'll see from there. But he's certainly got the talent. So that's never in question. It's more his temperament and has he got the desire to go and do that?
Yeah, did he make it sometimes make football almost look too easy? Do you think that was the issue in a way?
Yeah, sometimes, and where we spoke about body language as well before, sometimes his body language didn't look great, but that was just the way he held himself and the way he ran was very casual and stuff like that. So I think that's probably what people look at and think he's not working hard or he's not running, but he actually has to work.
People used to say the same about Berbatov though as well, wouldn't it? I
He was just lazy though. He didn't run.
Also, that's quite an English thing, isn't it? I think we really like hard-working players and seeing players that really put the effort in.
No, I think it's unless you're
gone.
Messi or Ronaldo, then you don't really get away with it, and your teammates don't let you get away with that. But I think it's just it's a basic rule in any team. Really, is when you lose the ball, get back and defend and try not concede. So the best way to do that is to work and. Yeah, so Berber definitely didn't do that.
We need to bring him on, and you tell him he's
lazy. He's funny, mate. He didn't speak. He used to walk around with his iPad watching his house, the Doctor one.
Oh, yeah.
He used to just walk around watching that all day.
He looks like he's the type that just watches The Godfather on repeat.
No, he's a good lad, Berber. But yeah, we used to you have to stick on him. Even when we played in that Legends game at United last year,
yeah,
he was up front and I was playing off the left. So now, obviously, I'm not fit. I said to him, Berber, swap for 5 minutes, let me go out. Let me stay up front and you go on the left. And literally within 30 seconds, he was back up front. yeah, but that's the difference. That's what I was saying before. Sorry to keep going back to it. When he never used to do that, we used to scream at him.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he'd be like, Berber, get back in. I'm not running again.
What did he say?
You need to get back in, defend. And then he'd go and defend.
Oh, okay.
But you had to keep on him throughout the game. You had to stay on him. So, and that's what I think some of the Liverpool players should be doing to Salah, which is not. You can clearly see it's not.
All right, well, I've tried multiple times on this show to get us away from Liverpool, but somehow we keep ending up back there. So that is where we will leave it. Thanks as always, guys, and thanks for listening to The Wayne Rooney Show. We'll be back on Friday. A reminder, you can listen to us on BBC Sounds or watch on the BBC iPlayer or YouTube. See you on Friday.